It's my feel-good breakfast show.
All right. We're talking about a very, very serious topic this morning. Have your relationship changed after having a baby? We have our relationship expert with us in studio, Dr. Eve, who's going to be talking to us about it. But, I mean, the lines are open if you want to ask any questions. That number, 08391333728. But it really came as a shock when DJ Zintle and AKA decided to split, and this shortly after having their baby girl. And this sparked a lot of conversations as to why this is happening. So we went out scouring the streets of South Africa, finding out exactly what people have to say in terms of, their relationships and adding a baby into the mix as well. Let's see what you guys had to say.
Having a baby changes your life dramatically, but it's for the better. There's difficult times, especially when you don't get a lot of sleep in, but it also builds your relationship, and you've got something that you share together and something that you love tremendously.
In the beginning, it is a huge change because you're so used to giving each other all that one-on-one time, and all your attention is then put onto this child, so your relationship does take a strain in the beginning.
It was difficult at first, but it actually brought us closer together also, because now we have to work as a team and always put the children first.
What's changed the most, baby?
Nothing really. I think it brought us closer in a sense, actually.
And also changed our perspective on a lot of things in life.
We see things different, like, for example, like clubbing. We look at people that goes clubbing. For us, it doesn't make any sense anymore because we're complete now.
We don't have a relationship anymore. We just have a baby now. No, it's made us stronger. No, it has. It's made the relationship stronger. But it's very challenging. You have to work hard at it.
Man, some interesting comments indeed. We don't have a relationship, we have a baby now. Man, that's crazy. So like I said, we have our relationship expert in studio, Dr. Eve. That number, if you want to ask or answer some questions, 08391333728. Give us a shout. The lines are open right now. Dr. Eve, lovely to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Nice to be here. My favorite topic.
Oh, heavy topic as well. Heavy topic. So I want to start off with this. I mean, the change is rather big. I mean, from being a couple to now all of a sudden being a family of three, even more. I mean, just how massive is that shift the minute you add a baby into the mix?
It's indescribable. People prepare and they go to classes and they read all the books, but you cannot ever understand the enormous impact that it's going to have to bring this baby in, who is completely demanding on your time. So a lot will depend on the kind of relationship that you had before the baby or before the babies came along. If it was a relationship where there was intimacy, where there was closeness, where there was sexual activity that was happening, it will be easier to kind of hook back into that over a period of time. I mean, not instantly. Yeah. But if you have a relationship that was kind of dubious, that was kind of wobbly before, and especially people who had a baby in order to save their relationship.
I was just about to touch on that. So I think a lot of people think that having a baby might save the relationship, but in fact, no.
It's just going to exacerbate any problems that were there already, are going to feel intensely more difficult and more challenging. Yeah. It's about communication in any relationship. And then what happens is that you bring in different parenting styles, and suddenly you realize how very different you really are from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's interesting you say that, the different parenting styles. I can only speak from experience between myself and my wife as well. I mean, she's from a completely different culture. She's European, I'm Afrikaans, and those kind of cultural differences really came into play once we had a child as well. But you mentioned the type of relationship determines, the outcome of what will happen when you have a baby. Is this the reason why some couples actually grow stronger together, and some couples really, there's this huge divide happening between them?
Absolutely. It depends on the communication, as I was saying, that you have beforehand. Yeah. If you're able to communicate, if you're able to talk about what we call difficult conversations before you have this baby, once the baby is there is an ability to have those difficult conversations again. There's an empathy, there's a sympathy for each other. It can totally shatter a couple, completely shatter a couple, even a couple that was solid beforehand, because of the unexpectedness of the feelings that come. Let's factor in, first of all, the most important thing is just fatigue. Changing of roles, suddenly having to do things completely differently in your life and in your family.
Your time is not your time anymore.
Yeah, and even though we live in an egalitarian society in South Africa, where we're supposed to be having equality between men and women, it still happens that the woman bears the brunt of all the caretaking. Even if she has a full-time job, even if she has a career, it's still she goes into that nurturing, mothering role. There was a fabulous piece of research that came out about a week ago that says, they asked couples, what influences your frequency of your love making? And it said, well, actually, him involved in child rearing.
Really?
Yeah, and which is actually quite new, but it was lovely to reinforce this. If a man becomes involved in taking care of that child, it says that the likelihood of the woman, and we're talking about a heterosexist model here, the likelihood of the woman to want to be sexual with him is higher. And this is a fascinating thing, because one of the things that happens to women specifically after childbirth, and I'm not saying immediately afterwards, because we can understand that the body feels different and it might be sexually uncomfortable to be sexual with a partner, but more specifically, it is really about how much help is he or she going to be getting in this relationship. The more help that she gets from a partner, the less resentment, the less anger there is towards a partner, and therefore she's more inclined to want to be intimate in whichever way that is, once she's kind of had this baby.
So that's why a guy strapped with a baby on his chest is sexy to a woman, appealing. I get it.
It is fantastic.
Well, we're going to be talking about that. Like I say, men and women are different, and we're going to
Yes.
talk about how men and women's approach differs to raising a kid in just a little bit. Remember, if you want to ask or ask some questions to Dr. Eve this morning, you can call us 0839133728. We're asking the question, have your relationship changed after having a baby? If you want some advice, Dr. Eve is right on standby. Let's find out what is still ahead on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Here's Leigh-Anne.